Human interactions are like a complex puzzle, but there is one particular piece that is truly fascinating: the ability to influence others without saying anything. It's not about talking, but about thoughts, energy, and what goes on in our heads. As we study this interesting idea further, it becomes clear that this ability can grow greatly. You can think of it like a muscle that gets stronger with practice. The more we work at it, the better we become at influencing people. This journey of learning about ourselves shows us that our ability to influence others can change significantly. It's like using a magnifying glass to focus sunlight. When we really focus on how we perceive others, big changes happen. People we thought we knew can appear quite different when we encounter them again. This not only affects our personal lives, but also changes how we work, how our teams get along, and how we interact with others every day. Key to all of this is understanding that, although it may not seem so, deep down everyone's thoughts are connected. When we realize this, we start to see how we can influence others without speaking. We begin to form our own beliefs and ideas about people, and we start to believe that they are what we think about them in our minds. We tune our thoughts to what we want to achieve, and the people we meet begin to reflect those thoughts. This is extremely useful in the business world, whether dealing with colleagues, customers, or business partners. Our ability to influence without words becomes a powerful tool. Imagine if we applied this understanding to every aspect of our lives. Imagine a world where we can build stronger connections and understand each other better, not through words, but through shared understanding and mutual respect. This would lead to more harmonious relationships in both our professional and personal lives. In such a world, conflicts could be more easily resolved by understanding the power of our thoughts and intentions. We could navigate disagreements and misunderstandings with greater empathy and insight. This would not only improve our personal interactions, but also create a more collaborative and productive environment in our professional lives. Furthermore, mastering this skill could lead to greater self-awareness and personal growth. As we become more attuned to the effects of our nonverbal communication, we begin to understand ourselves better. We become more aware of our own thoughts and feelings and how they influence our interactions with others. The power of silence in communication is often overlooked, but it can be a powerful tool to influence others without speaking. When used thoughtfully, silence can enrich a conversation, create emphasis, and prompt deeper reflection. When someone pauses while speaking, it forces the listener to pay more attention to what is being said. Think of a speaker who pauses right after making a crucial statement. This pause lets the point sink in and gives the listeners time to consider it. It's like underlining a sentence in a book that makes you notice and remember it. Sometimes, silence in a conversation gives you a chance to let the other person speak. This is especially useful in situations like meetings or counseling sessions where you want others to share their thoughts. By remaining silent, you create space for them, and it shows that you are listening and interested in what they have to say. In storytelling or public speaking, silence can build suspense or anticipation. Imagine a storyteller pausing just before revealing a crucial part of the story. These moments of silence make the audience curious about what's coming next. Taking a moment of silence before responding to a question or comment shows that you are giving the matter serious thought. This can make your final response seem more considered and respectful. It shows that you are not reacting impulsively, but are taking time to think things through. During heated conversations, a moment of silence can help to calm the situation. It gives everyone a chance to collect themselves and organize their thoughts. This can be much more effective than trying to persuade each other or having the last word. People who are comfortable with silence often appear more confident and in control. It shows that they are not under pressure to fill every moment with words. This can be very influential in situations such as negotiations or job interviews. Imagine working with someone who wasn't really interested in a project at first, but then something amazing happens. Their attitude changes for the better. They really contribute, and everything starts to fall into place. It's as if they understand what you are thinking without you having to say anything. This change is not just about convincing them, it happens naturally. These things don't just happen at work, they can also happen with your family, friends, or practically anyone. William Walker Atkinson, a remarkable thinker, wrote a large number of books under different names, such as Theon Q. Dumont and Yogi Ramakaraka. He also used the mysterious name Magnus Incognito. One of his great works is The Celestial, which people mistakenly believe to be the work of 3 other authors. In fact, however, it is closely related to Atkinson's ideas. He also wrote The Secret Doctrine of the Rosicrucians, which shares many similarities with The Celestial. Both books deal with the idea of influencing people without words. The skill to master this starts with convincing yourself of how things work when dealing with others. It's believing that the way you see people determines how they will act towards you. Instead of trying hard to make people do what you want, you start a fascinating process in your mind. You truly believe that they are as you see them in your mind, and that belief changes everything about how you interact with them. In this whole process, your thoughts, beliefs, and the people you meet work together. When you truly believe certain things about people, they begin to behave in ways that match your beliefs. It's not just hoping or wishing, it's a real change in the way you see the world and the people around you. The people in your life, at work, at home, everywhere, are like mirrors that reflect what you believe about them. This whole idea of how you change your interactions with people is based on the deep connection between what you think internally and what happens externally. This power of nonverbal influence extends beyond immediate interactions and is a tool for building long-term relationships and networks. By projecting positive and affirming thoughts about others, we not only influence their behavior in the present, but also pave the way for future interactions. This approach creates an atmosphere of mutual respect and understanding, fostering a sense of trust and cooperation that can be beneficial in both personal and professional contexts. Consider, for example, a company executive trying to work with a team member who just isn't seeing eye to eye. Rather than trying to push or persuade them, the executive uses a different strategy: self-persuasion. They begin to imagine that team member in a better light and visualize a smooth, successful working relationship. He focuses on this goal and pays attention to small changes in the team member's behavior that correspond to what he hopes for. With this attitude, no arguments or hard persuasion are necessary. The change in the leader's mindset causes the team member to naturally fit into the leader's vision. This approach is not limited to professional matters, it also works in our personal lives. How we think about our family, friends, and even people we are just meeting can really change our interactions with them. When we believe certain things about people, even if it is just in our minds, it sets the stage for easier and more positive relationships. People start to act more like how we see them, and everything feels better and more natural. This happens as we go about our daily lives, influencing our thoughts and interactions without even realizing it. Now, let's take a closer look at Atkinson's insights. He taught a lot about how we can influence others without talking, just through our thoughts. He said that when we think or feel, it's like we're sending out invisible thought waves. These waves can actually influence other people's thoughts and feelings when they're around. Atkinson explained that these waves can cause other people to feel similar thoughts or feelings. It's like walking into a room and just feeling what's going on without anyone saying anything. That's the power of thought waves. Atkinson's ideas show us that our thoughts are not just stuck in our heads, but can spread and change the thoughts and feelings of the people around us. This isn't just a theory, but something we can use every day, whether we're at work, hanging out with friends and family, or just out in public. By being aware of these thought waves and how they work, we can improve our ability to interact with people and make our interactions smoother. The ability to influence others without words can really change our daily lives. Let's say you work with someone and things aren't going well. Instead of trying to argue or apply pressure, you start to visualize that person as the perfect teammate. You really focus on this image and believe that your time together will be good. Then you notice little things in their behavior that match what you have imagined. So you don't have to push them, their attitude and behavior start to change naturally. What you are doing is allowing your own thoughts about them to shape how they respond, and it's all happening in your mind. This applies not only to work, but also works with your family and friends. Think of a friend you've had difficulties with. Instead of focusing on past problems, you start to see them as a great, understanding, and kind person. As you spend time with them, you notice small changes in their behavior that match your new view. Over time, you'll see your friendship improve, with more understanding and closeness. The great thing about this approach is how well it works and how it dispels doubt. When you do this over and over again in different areas of your life, you'll see good changes happen more quickly and smoothly. No more fighting, getting annoyed, or trying to force things. You begin to develop a new way of relating to people in which your thoughts and desires guide how you interact, all without saying a thing. This isn't just theory, it's a powerful way to improve your relationships in both your professional and personal life. To summarize, the ability to influence others without words is an amazing skill. It involves believing in your own thoughts, understanding the power of thought waves, and knowing that what you think can shape your reality. As we continue to learn and apply these ideas, We become better at dealing with various social situations with ease, subtlety, and great influence. The impact of such practice extends beyond improving existing relationships. It opens doors to new connections and opportunities. By cultivating a positive attitude toward others, we not only transform existing relationships but also attract like-minded people into our lives. This approach creates a positive influence in which the energy of our thoughts and intentions draws people who align with our mindset. In this way, we not only expand our existing relationships, but also our social and professional network in a way that is consistent with our inner beliefs and goals. This holistic application of nonverbal influence not only enriches our personal interactions, but also paves the way for a more fulfilling and harmonious life journey. I invite you to reflect on these ideas and share your insights in the comments below. If you feel this video has had value for you so far, I would appreciate if you would share that value with a donation through the Super Thanks button below the video, however much feels right and fair for you. Every gesture of appreciation is a precious gift for me, and it is your donations that make all of this possible. Now that we have taken a deep dive into the idea of nonverbal influence and the power of our thoughts, the question arises, how can we actively and consciously integrate this approach into our daily lives to create lasting change? The key lies in continuous mindfulness of our thoughts and consciously aligning those thoughts with what we actually want to experience. Let's start with a simple example. Imagine you have a difficult relationship with a colleague who repeatedly makes you feel unappreciated or disrespected. Normally, you might try to bring about a change through words or direct confrontation. But what if, instead, you started to see this colleague in a new light? Not as someone who is hostile towards you, but as a valuable colleague who respects and supports you. You consciously direct your thoughts towards this new idea and imagine in detail how this relationship becomes more harmonious and cooperative. What happens then? It may seem subtle at first, but gradually you will notice small changes. Your colleague may respond more kindly to you or perhaps conduct a conversation in a way that seems more open and respectful. It is as if the energy between the two of you is realigning, without a word being spoken about the conflict itself. You have set the change in motion through your thoughts, and the nonverbal influence that you have consciously exerted is beginning to bear fruit. However, it is important to remember that this practice requires time and patience. It is not about instant magical transformation, but about a steady, conscious alignment of your inner world with the outer reality you want to create. It's like tending a garden. You plant the seeds of your thoughts and beliefs and water them regularly with positive intention and focused awareness. Over time, these seeds will grow into the changes you want to see. In addition to working with thoughts, it is also crucial to become aware of your own emotions, because these play a major role in the process of nonverbal influence. Emotions are like an amplifier for our thoughts. For example, if you feel anger or frustration towards a person, these negative emotions unintentionally reinforce the thoughts you actually want to change. That's why it's so important to get a grip on your feelings and consciously focus on positive emotions, on gratitude, understanding, and compassion. One technique that can help you better manage your thoughts and emotions is visualization. Visualization is not just a mental process in which you imagine how a situation should ideally go. It is about feeling the emotions you would feel in this ideal situation right now. Imagine working peacefully and respectfully with your colleague. Feel the relief and joy that comes from it. The more intensely you experience these positive feelings, the stronger the influence you exert on external reality. This process of conscious inner alignment is not limited to relationships at work or in your personal life. It can be applied to all areas of your life, your health, your career goals, and your personal dreams. Every time you consciously align your thoughts and emotions with what you really want to experience, you set in motion a powerful mechanism that can transform the world around you. Another powerful tool you can use is daily reflection. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on how your thoughts and emotions have influenced your interactions. Were there situations in which you consciously behaved differently because you refocused your thoughts? Did you notice changes in the people around you? This daily reflection will help you become more and more aware and steadily improve your nonverbal influence skills. Finally, it is important to bring a sense of ease into this process. Too often, we try to control or force things. But real influence comes when we let go and trust that our inner beliefs and thoughts already have enough power to create the changes we want to see. If you manage to find a balance between conscious awareness and relaxed trust, you will find that the world around you naturally aligns with your thoughts and desires. So I invite you to try it. Be aware of your thoughts, align them with what you really want to see in your life, and watch with patience and openness as your reality changes step by step. Your influence on others, and on your own life, is greater than you can imagine. Use it with wisdom and confidence. Now that we have delved deeply into the power of nonverbal influence and the importance of our thoughts and emotions, it's time to take it one step further and explore one of the most subtle yet powerful techniques, the art of inner dialogue. What do I mean by that? It's about consciously shaping the way you talk to yourself, because this inner dialogue not only shapes your own perception, but also your effect on others. The inner dialogue is the constant stream of thoughts that flows through our minds, sometimes consciously, often unconsciously. You may catch yourself criticizing yourself or having doubts when you are faced with a difficult situation. However, these internal conversations have a far-reaching impact. They shape how you see the world and influence how others respond to you. When you allow negative or doubting thoughts into your internal dialogue, you also send these energies out into your environment, which in turn affects your interactions with others. But here lies the power. You can actively reshape this inner dialogue to make it an ally in your quest for positive influence. It starts with becoming aware of your thoughts and not just letting them flow passively. Listen to what you are saying to yourself and ask yourself, do these thoughts support the reality I want to create, or do they hinder me from doing so? Once you develop this mindfulness, you have the control to consciously change the direction of your inner dialogue. Imagine you are going into an important meeting where you have to make a critical decision. If your inner dialogue is characterized by insecurity or fear, thoughts like, what if I can't do this? Or what if the others don't take me seriously? You will project this inner insecurity to the outside world without saying a word. Your body language, your gaze, and even your energy will reflect these doubts, and the people around you will pick up on this unconsciously. They may also react more hesitantly or critically, simply because you have laid the foundation for it. Now imagine going into the same situation with a newly formulated inner dialogue. I am well prepared. I have the knowledge and skills to be successful here. You visualize the positive outcome and already feel the success. These thoughts shape your behavior. You will walk taller, appear more confident, and radiate a positive, calm energy. The people around you will feel it and react differently to you, maybe even more openly and supportively. This is how your inner dialogue and external reality interact. A powerful approach to mastering your inner dialogue is the technique of affirmations. Affirmations are positive, affirmative sentences that you repeat to yourself to realign your thinking and attitude. But here's the key: these affirmations must not only be repeated superficially, but you must really feel and believe them. The phrase, I am confident and competent, only becomes powerful when you say it with genuine conviction and feel it inside you. The more you do this, the more your inner dialogue is shaped, and eventually your behavior, and the reaction of the people around you, is influenced by it. It is important to understand that the inner dialogue is not limited to oneself, but can also extend to others. For example, if you think about someone and feel, this person never understands me, or they're never going to help me, you are already creating a barrier in your relationship with that person. Your behavior and energy will unconsciously reflect these thoughts, and the person is likely to react accordingly. Instead, change the inner dialogue to, this person will be open and supportive, or we will work well together, and you may be surprised by how the dynamic between you changes. It's a silent but powerful art that can profoundly affect your interactions with others and your own perception. People respond not only to what you say, but also to the subtle energy you create through your inner dialogue. The more you consciously shape this dialogue and align it with positive and supportive thoughts, the more you will be able to influence others, not with words, but with what you create within yourself. To integrate this into your daily life, you could take a few moments of silence each day to look within and consciously listen to your inner dialogue. Make sure your inner conversations are aligned with your goals and desires. When you notice doubts or negative thoughts emerging, acknowledge them but don't let them dominate. Actively reshape them and refocus your thoughts on the positive you want to create. The more you deepen this practice, the more natural it will become. Your inner dialogue will become a powerful tool that not only helps you to steer your own life in a positive direction, but also changes the way others respond to you. After all influence begins within ourselves, and the change we want to see in the world begins first in our thoughts. This practice of conscious inner dialogue not only leads to stronger, more positive relationships, but also to a deeper understanding of yourself and the people around you. You will find that your interactions become more harmonious and your connections more authentic. The world you imagine internally will gradually become a reality, a world in which your thoughts are the basis for everything you experience. Now that we understand the power of inner dialogue, let's explore another equally important aspect, the art of active listening. While nonverbal communication and inner thoughts lay the foundation for our interactions, listening is the key to building deeper connections and further deepening our influence on others. Active listening is not simply passively taking in words, but a conscious and attentive process that goes far beyond what is said. When you really listen, you not only perceive the words, but also the emotions, mood, and unspoken thoughts of the person you are talking to. You create space for what is not directly expressed in words, and give the person you are talking to the feeling of really being heard and understood. In today's often hectic world, this is a rarity and has an immense effect. Imagine you are in a conversation and the other person is talking about a problem or challenge. Often, we tend to formulate answers or solutions in our minds before the other person has even finished. But true active listening means suppressing these inner impulses and focusing your full attention on the other person. You don't just listen to respond, but to really understand. What happens in such moments? Your counterpart feels this undivided attention, which creates a deep connection and trust. Active listening is an art that focuses not only on words, but also on nonverbal signals. Pay attention to the body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions of the person you are talking to. What is this person expressing between the lines? Often, people can't put their true feelings or thoughts into words directly, but their gestures and tone of voice reveal a lot. When you learn to recognize these subtle signs, you can delve deeper into understanding what is really being said. This gives you an ability that goes beyond simple communication. You start to influence people on a much deeper level. Another crucial element of active listening is mirroring. Mirroring is when you repeat back to the speaker what you've heard in your own words to make sure you've understood correctly. This is not only a technique to avoid misunderstandings, but also shows that you are truly listening and taking the time to reflect on what has been said. This makes the other person feel valued and respected. It builds trust and lays the groundwork for more open, honest conversations. Let's look at a specific example. You're in a meeting and a colleague expresses concern about the progress of a project. Instead of immediately suggesting a solution or trying to allay their concerns, you could say, "So, let me make sure I understand. You're worried that at the current pace, we won't finish the project on time. Is that right?" This simple act of mirroring not only lets your colleague know that you've listened carefully, but it also opens the door to a deeper discussion where you can work together to find a solution. Another advantage of active listening is that it can diffuse conflicts. Misunderstandings or tensions often arise because people feel that they are not being heard or misunderstood. If you are able to show empathy through active listening and make the other person feel truly understood, you can often resolve conflicts before they escalate. Instead of getting into heated discussions, you create an atmosphere of understanding and openness in which everyone is willing to compromise. But active listening goes even deeper. It also changes your own inner attitude. By listening consciously and attentively, you become calmer, more relaxed, and more focused. You step out of the role of "I have to have an answer" and take on an attitude of curiosity and learning. Your conversation partners also feel this change. They notice that you are not just out to get your opinion across, but are really willing to understand their perspective. This not only strengthens your relationships, but also gives you a new kind of influence based on trust and respect. There is a special power in simply being still and attentive, without the constant need to react immediately. In such moments of silence and listening, something wonderful happens. The people around you open up in a way they might not have expected. They feel safe enough to reveal more of themselves, to express their thoughts more freely, and to share their true concerns or hopes. This is the real magic of active listening. It creates space for authenticity and deep connections. This skill can also play a crucial role in a professional context. Think of a successful negotiator or a leader who knows how to listen carefully to their employees or partners. They don't just listen to what is said, but also to what is not said, to the unspoken needs, fears, and desires. By doing so, they can make more effective decisions based on genuine understanding. They can motivate their teams because they understand the deeper motivations behind their employees' actions. They create an atmosphere of trust in which everyone feels heard and valued. So how can you begin to integrate active listening into your daily life? It's a simple but powerful exercise. Resolve to consciously listen in your next conversation, whether it's with a friend, colleague, or family member. Try not to react or insert your own thoughts immediately. Instead, focus completely on the words, body language, and emotions of the person you're talking to. Mirror back what you hear and make sure you understand it correctly. Observe how the conversation develops when you use this technique. The more you develop this skill of active listening, the more you will find that you not only understand others better, but your own thoughts and reactions become clearer. A cycle of better listening, deeper understanding, and stronger relationships is created, both in your personal and professional life. Active listening is not just a technique, but an attitude that makes you a better, more empathetic, and ultimately more influential person. In conclusion, the art of listening is one of the most powerful skills we can develop to improve our relationships and influence. It enables us to develop deeper connections with others and to be present in every interaction in a way that fosters trust, respect, and understanding. Active listening, combined with conscious management of our inner dialogue and the power of thought, lays the foundation for genuine, lasting influence, without saying a word.